November 18th is the 2020 NBA Draft, and we are going to be live for every single pick, 1 all the way to 60. We're going to be live an hour before the draft, and we're going to be live for a couple hours after the draft as well. So make sure you subscribe right here, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications here at Chat Sports, because we have the best draft coverage you're going to find on the internet. So make sure you subscribe today, youtube.com/chatsportstv. It's in 5 days, Wednesday, November 18th. Make sure you tune in and watch all 60 picks with us here at Chat Sports. Let's go to Fabio Sousa. Does Isaac Okoro make sense for the Bulls? Yeah, I have Isaac Okoro as my best defensive wing in this class. And if you look at one thing the Bulls are kind of missing from their lineup, it's a wing. Like, I know Otto Porter Jr. is there, but he's kind of been a bit of a disappointment. So, yes, I think Isaac Okoro makes a lot of sense for Chicago at number 4. But I might lean Deni Avdija. I think Deni Avdija might be the answer, but I've seen some people that aren't that high on him all of a sudden. They're starting to drop off. So, could go Okoro, could go Deni Avdija. I think either one could be very solid picks for the Chicago Bulls, as they do need a wing. But if I'm the Bulls, I'm looking to trade up and get LaMelo Ball up to number 2. Let's go to 2K player. Do you think the top 2 picks will get traded? I think the Timberwolves will hold on to number 1. I think they're kind of using a smoke screen a little bit with how much they're actually looking to trade that pick. I don't think it'll end up getting moved. I think, getting Anthony Edwards alongside Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell would be very, very solid. I don't think they'll go for LaMelo Ball. I don't think they'll go for James Wiseman. But I think it's very realistic that the Golden State Warriors end up trading their pick at number 2. Look, the Warriors are trying to win now. And if they can get a player that helps them win now more than whoever they take at number 2, they will absolutely do that. But if they decide to keep the pick, that's fine. They could eventually take a guy like a James Wiseman or a Onyeka Okongwu, who I think they should take as a big man if they keep the pick. But, yeah, I think Golden State trades number 2. I think Minnesota hold on to number 1. Let's go to Marty B. Who are some sneaky good players the Warriors could draft in round 2? Ooh, excellent question. Let me refer to my draft board here and see who I have at the end of the second round, or really in the middle of the second round, because the Warriors, they have 2 second-round picks. They have the 48th pick and the 51st pick. Obviously, they have the number 2 pick. Everybody knows that, but not as many people are talking about guys they could find in the second round. So I do have a little list for you ready of guys that I think could fall around that range. And really, when you look at my guys, my best available, 50 to 54, these kind of guys would make sense, right? Devon Dotson is an experienced college player that they could go out and get and help their guard rotation. Yoli Childs is a guy that Boston is looking at a lot in the second round, and potentially the Warriors could too if he's available, a forward that would help them out at their rotation. Reggie Perry is a big man who's one of the best rebounders in this class and a super good athlete. If they want to go international, draft and stash, maybe they go Rokas Jokubaitis out of Lithuania, but I don't think that makes a lot of sense for them. However, Marcus Howard, although he's an undersized guard, could be an upgrade over a guy like Kai Bowman. Now, if you want to go a little bit higher on my big board, you can look at guys like Cassius Stanley could be available, potentially a Skylar Mays out of LSU. Peyton Pritchard is one of the best shooters in this draft at Oregon, and although I think he should get picked before that 50th pick or around where the Warriors are picking in round 2, Peyton Pritchard could be a guy that they go with. So any of these guys are some sneaky good available players for them in the second round, and I do want to ask you this. Should the Warriors trade the number 2 overall pick? So we talked about their second round picks, but everybody's more focused on that number 2 pick. Should they trade it? Type Y for yes or type N for no. And if you're a Warriors fan, subscribe right here. YouTube.com/WarriorsTV. Best place to go for all of our Warriors coverage, whether it's draft related, trade related, or free agency related. Make sure you go subscribe today. That link, real simple, YouTube.com/WarriorsTV. Let's go to Eric Reyna. What is the possibility that the Hawks can trade up to get Anthony Edwards? It's possible, but they'd probably have to go to number 1. I think the Timberwolves will hold on to that number 1 pick. And, the Hawks have the number 6 pick, but they also have guys like Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter that they could use as trade chips. Does Cam Reddish and number 6 get you all the way up to number 1? Maybe. Now, maybe if you throw in John Collins, but I don't think Atlanta would do that. If you put in John Collins in 6, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves would do that. I don't think they would do number 6 plus one of the 2 wings that the Hawks would have. But I think it's possible. I think that's a sneaky team that could trade up if they don't end up trading for Drew Holiday. Let's go to Dylan Riddell. Where do you think Immanuel Quickley and Nick Richards will be drafted and by which team? So Immanuel Quickley, guard out of Kentucky, probably one of the best shooters available, and he was an elite defender at the college level. And then Nick Richards is a big man out of Kentucky who I have as my 9th best center. I don't think Nick Richards will get drafted, or if he does, he'll probably go to the end of the first round. So you look at that kind of 55 to 60 range, the Brooklyn Nets, the Charlotte Hornets, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Toronto Raptors. Pelicans also have number 60. And then when you go Immanuel Quickley, look, on my board, I'll tell you exactly where I have him. I have him ranked 36th among all players. So when you look at 36, you know which team that is? It's the Philadelphia 76ers. You know what the Philadelphia 76ers need? A lot of shooting. So that is a guy that I think could fit really well with the Sixers. I like that question, and I really like Immanuel Quickley. In fact, I'd call him underrated. So let me ask you this. Who do you think is the most underrated player in this year's draft? Let me know in the comments section who it might be. I think Immanuel Quickley is a good answer. I think Jamias Ramsey out of Texas Tech is a good answer. I think Desmond Bane out of TCU is a great answer. And in all honesty, even though he's still probably ranked top 6 or 7, I think Onyeka Okongwu out of USC is a guy that is super underrated as well. The most underrated player in the draft. Let me know in the comment section, or if you're watching live with us right now, shout it out in the live chat. Let's go to Orlando 28 with the super chat. Here's a trade idea. Golden State gets Ben Simmons and Robert Covington and Daniel House. The 76ers get James Harden. Houston Rockets get Andrew Wiggins, Josh Richardson, 2020 first-round picks from Golden State and Philadelphia, and then 2021 first-round pick from Minnesota. Golden State and Philly get $17 million in cap space. So let me break it down for you because I got to break it down for myself. The Warriors get Simmons, Covington, and Daniel House. 76ers get Harden, Wiggins, and Richardson, and 2021 from Golden State. I think Golden State, I don't know. I think a lot of people say no in this one. I don't think Houston's giving up James Harden. I know listen, I've been told among people in the office that I am bad at being wishy-washy on my trade picks, but I think wow, I can't even talk now. The Rockets say no. I don't think they're giving up James Harden. And I also think Ben Simmons to Golden State, I just don't know. There's so many moving pieces in this trade. I'm going to be honest, Orlando. I appreciate the question, but my brain is hurting trying to break down this trade. So I really don't know who says no, but I know the Houston Rockets aren't going to give up James Harden. That's all I know on that one. Sorry, Orlando. Let's go to Sam. Maybe this is producer Sam. His burner account on YouTube says, thoughts on Precious. Will his game translate to the NBA? Precious, it was a pretty good movie. I didn't mind it. I don't think I saw it in the theaters. No, I'm just playing. He's talking about Precious Achiuwa, a kid out of Memphis. I think it will translate to the NBA. I think it's a kind of pick and roll guy. He's not going to be a starter at the NBA level, maybe eventually, but a power forward that could be in that pick and roll kind of scenario is very, very good. Plus, any kind of high energy big man, think Montrezl Harrell, not just because they have similar hair, but think Montrezl Harrell for Precious Achiuwa. That's who he should model his game after. And if he does that, I think it'll be really solid. Another thing with Precious Achiuwa, he has perfect form at the top of his shot. So, like, when you look at the hands, when you look at the alignment and how he releases and everything, it's perfect. The problem are his feet. He plants his feet weird. So if that shot comes around, I think he's a lottery talent, but I think he gets picked somewhere in the 15 to 18 range. Good question, Sam. I appreciate it. Let's go to Paul Christian. Says Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, and the 18th overall pick, along with future first-rounders for the Minnesota Timberwolves first-round pick. So here's your problem, Paul. The Mavs don't have a whole lot of draft picks to offer in the future. Most of them belong to the New York Knicks. The next one they can actually offer is in 2025. The problem in 2025 is that Luka Doncic is going to be 26 years old, which means he's entering his prime, which means the Mavs are going to be incredible. So that's not going to be worth a lot. So unfortunately, 18, THJ, and Dorian Finney-Smith, they don't really move the needle for the Timberwolves that much. I think they'd rather get a guy like Anthony Edwards. Now, would the Mavs do this? Yeah, I think they would. I think anybody would for that number one pick. But fortunately, I got to say, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves say no. Let's go to Euros Jovancic. Says, lottery biggest bust potential. So I usually don't like answering this question until we've seen how the draft goes, simply because we don't know where players are going to get picked. So it's a bit of a question mark if they're actually going to be a bust or not. But I'll say this. I love Alexei Pokusevski. I absolutely love him. In fact, I have him as a top 12 player in this draft. I think he should be picked in the lottery. But if we're talking guys that could bust, Aleksej Pokusevski is absolutely that because his NBA body is not there yet. He's 190 pounds, and he's 7 feet tall. For reference, I'm 6 feet tall, and I'm about 190 pounds. A little bit heavier, actually. So that's a bit of a problem when you're talking about Pokusevski. Yeah, that's right. I lift. So what? Anyway, I would say Pokusevski is one. If you want to go with another guy, maybe it's LaMelo Ball, although I don't believe he'll bust. I think LaMelo Ball will be worth it, but I got to say Pokusevski. I think he should get picked in the lottery, but he definitely has bust potential. That's a good question. It's just tough to answer right now. And so now I made my prediction on the busts. I want you to make your predictions on trades that could happen on draft night. Predict one player that you think will get traded on draft night. Maybe it's Russell Westbrook. Maybe it's Chris Paul. Maybe it's LaMelo Ball. I don't know if that counts as a draft night trade. A player that is on a team that could get traded right now. Let me know in the comment section, or if you're watching live with us in the live chat. And if they do get traded, lucky for you, on Fanatics, they have jersey insurance. Chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. So if your player gets traded that you have his jersey, guess what? Fanatics will replace that for free. It's a great deal that they have, and they give you only the best authentic jerseys at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. Go pick yours up today. Go pick one up for your friends, your family, or your loved ones in general on chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. If anybody wants to buy me one, I would love that Luka Doncic throwback that you can see right here. So if you guys want to send me one, go ahead, DM me on Twitter at Jimmy_Crowther, and I'll tell you where you can send it. But if not, that's okay. Just go buy one for somebody at chatsports.com/NBA jerseys. The best deal available, and they're all authentic too. They're not the cheap knockoffs that you can find just anywhere on the internet. So go pick yours up today at that link below. Let's go to Zay's view. Who should the Raptors draft? So the Raptors have, I'm looking at my notes down here. The Raptors have the 29th overall pick. And when you go to my big board, the guys that I have around 29, I have Jalen Smith at 26, Zeke Naji at 27, Jamias Ramsey at 28, Tyler Bay at 29, and Teo Maledon at 30. I think the Raptors could go big man here because Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol are two guys that could potentially leave this year. So I think Zeke Naji, Jalen Smith would be really good answers. Or if you think you're going to lose Fred VanVleet, if a guy like Malachi Flynn, Grant Riller, or Tyrell Terry are available at 29, I would take them in a heartbeat. If you think you're going to lose Fred VanVleet. If you think Fred VanVleet's going to come back, don't worry about a guard. I don't think you need a wing because they have OG Anunoby, and Pascal Siakam kind of plays that hybrid 3 position. So big man or point guard if you really think you need one. Let's go to BNKL Abu is what we'll call you. It says, do you think the Celtics will or should trade their 3 first-round draft picks? So the Celtics have the 14th, the 26th, and the 30th overall pick. I think they should, and I think they will. In fact, I think the Celtics could be a team on draft night that could make some really big moves because when you have that much ammunition, you're going to make a play. And I do think they are going to be one of those teams. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to chatsports.com/CelticsTV because we're going to have all the latest draft and trade news related to the Boston Celtics available right there. So I think they're going to make a move. I don't think they'll trade all 3, but I think at least 2 of those 3 could be on the move. Watch out for 26 and 30 packaged with a player potentially like a Gordon Hayward if he ends up opting in to his player option. So are you excited for the NBA draft? If you are, you better smash that like button. If you're not, you're in the wrong place because this is the home for the NBA draft. So please like this video if you're as excited about the NBA draft as I am. Also, make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv. You can see it right there. The link is below. Go hit subscribe and also hit that thumbs up. Give us a like on this video. If you're excited for the draft, which we'll be live for, I will be live for November 18th, all night Wednesday night, breaking down picks 1 through 60. So no matter who your team is, as long as you're not a Rockets fan because they don't have a pick, we'll be talking about your team's pick on Wednesday night. Let's go to Isaiah 6. Why is Haliburton going in mocks to teams that already have point guards? So not sure what teams or what mocks you're talking about, but Tyrese Haliburton is a guy that can play either guard position. He's not locked into the point guard position. He's a guy that could play the shooting guard position or play off the ball. He's got a funky jump shot. It's kind of ugly, I'll be honest. It kind of looks like my jump shot, and that might hurt him, but it works. So whereas mine is ugly and it doesn't work, his jump shot is ugly and it does work. Sometimes just works for the right people, and he's one of those people. Plus, he's a great defender, man. His length, like his wingspan. See how mine just barely goes off the screen? His elbows would be off the screen. His wingspan is incredible. So, look, I like Tyrese Haliburton a lot. I think he should be a top 10 pick, absolutely. I think the Knicks would be lucky to get him at number 8. I could even see a team like the Hawks taking him and putting him at the 2 next to Trae Young to kind of make up for that lack of defensive ability. Let's go to Ryan Vasquez with a Mavs draft question. What do you think about the Mavs drafting? Ooh, I love this. Mavs draft Josh Green with the 18th pick and Isaiah Stewart with the 31st pick. Yes, 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 yes. And if you're a Mavs fan, you want to talk more about the draft with me, youtube.com/allthingsmavs, or you can follow me on Twitter at all_things_Mavs, or at Jimmy_Crowther. All those places I'm talking Mavs with you. Look, Josh Green has become underrated at this point. He is quietly going to go in that probably 15 to 25 range, and some team is going to be really, really happy, like the Dallas Mavericks, if they got him at 18. He could be their best defender almost immediately outside of Dorian Finney-Smith and Maxi Kleber. Isaiah Stewart could be a really, really good backup big man, more of that bruiser type that they don't really have. I'd be kind of shocked if they go big man there at 31, but if Isaiah Stewart's available, which I don't think he will be at 31, I would be absolutely ecstatic. So, Ryan, great idea, buddy. I appreciate that question. Let's go to Ryan Gorman. Who would be an ideal prospect for Brooklyn, or is the pick used in a trade with Spencer Dinwiddie and Taurean Prince? So as I'm looking at my notes here, the Brooklyn Nets have the 19th overall pick. I do think they're going to have a lot of trade talks surrounding that pick. So I'd be surprised if they actually end up selecting someone there. But if they do, you know who I love for the Brooklyn Nets is RJ Hampton, if he's available at 19. If he is there, I think you take him because I think a guy like Kevin Durant could really mentor an RJ Hampton and kind of help bring him up a little bit more. Plus, you're a team that, hey, this draft pick, if it doesn't hit right away, you're going to be fine because you have depth already. So you kind of take a chance on a guy that you're not 100% sure on but has all the talent level in the world. Now, if you're going more for need, maybe a Desmond Bane out of TCU makes some sense. I think Josh Green could make some sense. If you think you're going to trade Dinwiddie, then maybe go out and get a guy like a Tyrese Maxey out of Kentucky. So we'll see, but I think they end up trading that pick.